folks. Welcome back to another informative episode of Whining About Pest Control. I am Shelby Hartzer with 360 Pest Consulting, and we've hit the official start of summer, so we're in peak pest season. That means that many of our species are very noticeable because they've had time to develop and reproduce. So today I'm whining about honeybees. In honor of that, I'm drinking a rosé because roses, nectar, bees, and I do have bees on my glass, so that's the best I can do today. Cheers. Good. Unless you're just joining us, you know that I whine about pest problems on this series. Honeybees are really beneficial insects. There are always lots of save the honeybees because they're pollinating many of the crops that give us the foods that we want to eat. There are also many other species of bees that help pollinate, but you're going to have to stay tuned for future episodes, so make sure you hit those follow buttons down there and you don't miss out. Anyway, why am I whining about something that's beneficial? Let's step back for a second, ask the question, what's a pest? Depending on your definition of a pest, honeybees could fall into that category. I couldn't find specific data to honeybee numbers, but the CDC posts that deaths from stinging insects, all stinging insects, ranges from 49 to 89 people per year. That may not sound huge, but if you're a person with severe allergies to honeybees, it is a huge concern. Add to that, the average cost for an EpiPen is $365 in the US. Those don't last forever. They expire, so they have to be replaced. When honeybee colonies are near people with allergies or those foraging bees are close by, that's a big risk. And in that case, honeybees are definitely going to be considered a pest. We also have to consider if that honeybee colony is in or on a structure. You've seen those horror stories of that massive honeybee colony being found in the wall or the ceiling of a home. Honeybees will absolutely nest inside wall spaces, other areas of a structure. I once had an issue with a honeybee colony that had gotten into a cinder block wall at a big box store. That one was fun. It may sound simple, just kill off those bees and your job is done, walk away. The reality is that wax, the honey, the dead brood can cause a range of secondary pests. The honey's going to attract flies. Warehouse beetles are going to go after that brood and the pollen stores. Mice and rats may get attracted. Many more species are going to go after that as a food source. All right, since this is whining about control, how do we control honeybees? First, recognize that public perception may come into play. Carefully consider your options. Killing foraging bees is a bad idea. Most pesticide labels strictly forbid that. Do not spray flowering plants. Don't do it. The best way is to remove the feeding source. I know ripping out a whole bunch of pretty plants isn't ideal for most people. So in this case, if possible, trace those bees back to the hive, back to that main colony, and deal with that issue there. Now, a lot of times, the foraging source can be cleaned up. I've seen bees foraging around dumpsters, campgrounds, park shelters, and especially outside bars. Along with all that sugary alcohol, there are the juices, the other mixtures that they use. They're going to be around recycling bins for similar reasons. The leftover bits of soda, the other sweet liquids left in there. Now, if you can contain these areas, keep the bees out, that can be helpful, but really cleaning them regularly will be much more effective on a long-term situation. When dealing with the whole colony, you found the hive, consider calling in a local beekeeper. It does not hurt to do some research now. Find a few people in your area that are willing to collect colonies before that customer calls you. There will be times when harvesting a colony is just not an option. There are labeled pesticides for colony treatments. Read and follow the labels, folks. You want to do this at first light or after dusk when those colonies are all inside. The bees are all inside there, not out foraging. Plus, people are less likely to see you and you won't be the latest feature on News at 7. Unless you offer cleanup services, make sure the customer understands they need to get in there, remove all that comb. Don't forget to protect yourself, of course. You should have a bee suit, the veil, smoker, vacuum, other beekeeping tools. If there is any chance of an allergic reaction, have that EpiPen ready and always work with a buddy. These are just a few considerations when honeybees become a pest. Again, be very careful with the optics of controlling honeybees, and we'll whine more about them and other stinging insects in future episodes. Until then, grab a glass, buy some local honey, like and share with all your hives and your BFFs. And here's to another buzzingly good whining about honeybees. Cheers.